Hang on.
Welcome into a new KSR Rapid Reaction. We are not in Nashville on a Sunday after the SEC Championship. But thanks to a good selection Sunday, we've already forgotten about all that because they gave us a path to the Final Four that I think all Kentucky fans like. Today we learned Kentucky is a number 3 seed when it looked like a 4 was on the table in the South region, and we are not going that far. Luckily drew Pittsburgh, the home of Trey Mitchell, and I guess we can go ahead and call it the home of John Calipari because Moon Township is about 20 minutes away. Drawing Oakland in the first round, really, as we'll get to there, I think this is about as good as it could have gotten for Kentucky fans. I'm happy because I had a flight booked to Spokane, Washington, thinking that was on the table. I got to hit cancel on that immediately. And now we're all getting in a car. We're going to have another KSR house, and I'm hoping Blue will get in as well because, as I said, that's about as close as we can get to get as many fans in as possible. Drew Franklin here with Tyler Thompson, Jack Pilgrim, and Zach Gagan. I guess we'll pull up the bracket eventually. I have mine here. Nice printout edition. I don't know what you all are doing with
colors and all.
I first just want to start with green, everyone. Come on. I saw Jack had some on. I've got mine. We not partaking in the holiday today?
Did you not see?
I don't have my green on.
Okay. Well, you all are focused on the Cats. As I said, we're playing Oakland. Just some quick hitters on Oakland since I just wrote about them. They won the Horizon League. They've won 8 of 9 games coming into the tournament. Their star player, Trey Townsend, is a forward who both of his parents went to Oakland. He has 3 games of 28 points, and he had 38 in the conference championship. I mean, that guy can obviously fill it up. Their coach, Greg Campy, has been there for 44 years. He is the second longest tenured coach at one school, and he is 11th on the all-time Division I coaching list. So we know Kentucky is in a coaching battle there. But I think I've done enough talking as I finally get this voice back. Jack, I'll throw to you to start. Just some general thoughts on what we thought of just that first weekend with what Kentucky has in Oakland, and then the winner of Texas Tech and maybe a Joel Justice sighting in NC State.
Well, I think first and foremost, we should just erase everything that we said or felt after Friday because – unfortunately, the SEC tournament ended up not mattering at all. Auburn, the winner of the SEC championship, gets the 4 seed in UConn's region, 4 overall seeds lower than Kentucky, who got the 11 overall and a 3 seed. So, it was sad. It sucked that we didn't get the chance to, celebrate together in Nashville. But at the end of the day, Kentucky's seed line was amazing as Drew just disappears. The seed line ended up not mattering at all. The matchup is great, in my opinion. You look at the big picture bracket, you don't see a defensive powerhouse until potentially the Elite Eight. I mean, there's a lot to love about just kind of the fit, how things laid out. We'll see about timing. I like the Thursday start, but there's just a lot to like about this overall seed line. It ended up just, all of our emotions and passion about losing early in the SEC tournament ended up being for nothing.
Tyler, you've done many of these with me. For me personally, this was the most nervous I've ever been for several reasons. One, I thought the state of Washington was on the table. I didn't want to do that whatsoever. But also, I can't remember a team so much where I was worried about matchups. Just, you could run into a physical team, whereas we know we want a team Kentucky can run with. I know we'll learn a lot about Oakland. They're well coached. But in general, proximity to home and just looking at names and logos, I feel like with all the nerves, at least I had, I won't speak for you, but I'm certainly in a good place today.
Yeah, I mean, if you guys could see our group chat in the hour before the selection show, we were all over the place, like talking about flights to Spokane and, whether or not we would actually end up in Pittsburgh or not. I'm so happy we did as someone who helps manage the KSR travel budget. Very happy that we can all get in a car and do this. And yeah, I think the bracket is pretty favorable. Not crazy about potentially facing Houston, but we won't have to do that until the Elite Eight. Marquette doesn't really scare me. I think Florida is kind of a dark horse as a Sweet 16 opponent. Texas Tech, NC State. I was kind of a huge fan of NC State, I'll be honest. I watched all the highlights of them winning the ACC championship. And they have kind of a bigger dude, like a big butt guy, as Ryan Lemon would say. And he's really fun to watch and really lovable. So it'll be even more fun when we beat them. But yeah, I think if all things considered, Kentucky got a great draw, which, about 2 hours ago, I was pretty freaked out about it. So I am pleased.
Florida, not great circumstance for them. They had a gruesome injury to a star player today. You don't want to have your path get easier because a team's missing a star player, but that's something else to note with them. The top half of the bracket, you said you don't love Houston, but you have Duke and Wisconsin, couple of villains, a hot James Madison team, Texas A&M that you're 0-2 against, and Houston all up top. But luckily, you only have to run into one of them, whoever escapes that. Zach, did you watch the video that we have posted on KSR of the team reaction? And what did you think of that? And what do you just think maybe after losing on Friday? Maybe I won't say that was good for the team, but maybe where team morale might be. They certainly looked happy to get Pittsburgh in that video that we saw.
Yeah, Trey Mitchell definitely seemed happy. I guess his little homecoming for him, he had a bunch of his guys dapping him up for that. So that should be fun for him. Obviously, got the Calipari connection. I believe Duthier is kind of from around that region as well. So a bunch of different connections that they can go for. But just my immediate reactions after just kind of like looking at their sports reference page is they shoot a lot of threes. They have one guy who takes 9 a game. So I imagine he's just some dude that just runs around screens the whole time and just wants to catch and shoot. So that'll be something, I'm sure he'll hit 2 or 3 to start the game off. So that's something to be aware of. They also have Rocket Watts, who might be familiar to a couple of Kentucky fans when I think it was the 2022 offseason. Jack, you can correct me if I'm wrong there, where Kentucky kind of had some interest in him in the portal. He averages 17 minutes a game right now. So I think Kentucky made a good decision there. He's kind of a bench player, but it'll be an interesting matchup. I'm more interested in kind of playing NC State and DJ Burns. That's just, I've been kind of on that bandwagon. Sorry, I'm sounding like Drew right now. Over the last 2 weeks, I just love how because he's a very like finesse type player. Like he's got a lot of really good skill and touch. Sometimes he struggles to get up and down the floor, so I don't really am worried if Kentucky has to play that because it might be 5-on-4 for half the game. But I'm worried for a guy like Aaron Bradshaw and his health personally if he has to go up against a guy like DJ Burns, because he might not leave that one without some sort of broken ligament or something like that. But I do think that Kentucky's got a pretty good path here to go, Sweet 16 and beyond. I'm just ready to ride. Let's do it. We got a couple days. I'm kind of juicing. It's like Nashville never happened, and I already forgot half of that trip, honestly, from Drew and Jack. They're kind of my reason for that, but I'm ready.
I will break in real quick. Okay. I looked up where Adu's from. He's from Leetsdale, Pennsylvania, which is a 26-minute drive to Pittsburgh.
Oh,
so
I didn't realize it was that close.
And
lots
Orlando
of connections.
Antigua played and coached at Pittsburgh.
I once stepped into Pittsburgh.
Nice.
I've never been to Pittsburgh.
Connection.
Drew, tell us what to expect.
A lot of beer in yellow and gold. You got to get Permane Brothers. That's the sandwich with the fries on it. We'll have to do that. It's a business trip, so hopefully we're escaping Pittsburgh and getting on to Dallas. But I think we'll have fun. Like I said, it should get a lot of Kentucky fans there. I was pulling up Oakland's record. I mentioned they had won 8 of 9 to end the season. Their biggest win of the year, they went into Xavier as a 15.5-point underdog and won earlier in the season. They lost to Ohio State, lost to Illinois, lost to Dayton, lost to Michigan State. Outside of that trip to Xavier, whenever they're punching up, it really hasn't worked out for them. I'm basically being polite and saying this isn't one. There was maybe a first-round opponent that really grabs our attention. You got to win this one, or we all know what that conversation looks like, right? We all confident. Yeah, we all confident we're getting it.
That could be a good segue, by the way. So Steven was at Coach Calipari's house and was there to get the reaction from the team. So Steven, do you want to join and share what it was like?
Yeah, I'm here at KS Bar right now. Sorry for some background noise if you guys hear anything. But the last year when I was there, when they announced Kentucky, there wasn't much of a reaction. This year there was lots of cheers. I'm not sure if that was just because they were just seeing their name or if they were excited about who they were paired with. Obviously, they give you the 6'11" first, so they kind of knew who their 3 potential opponents could be. So it was a little bit different vibes this time, and I think that when we talked to Cal too, most years I've been there for a few of them, even before KSR. He always talks about how tough the draw is. He didn't talk about how tough this one was, and he said every draw is tough. He did say that at the end, but but usually he comes out swinging with, I can't believe they screwed us over, and how we have the toughest road. And he said he hadn't seen the other side of the bracket, but I
hadn't seen him.
Yeah, exactly. I think from just judging from what he said, kind of with the players, they like their draw, and I think Cal, who said he's friends with Oakland's head coach and said he's been there for a while, and they had talked right after, and he said that he was pulling for Oakland, pulling for them hard in their conference in the Horizon League final. But I do think that he is comfortable with this draw. I think by just judging from past experience.
Well, don't bury the lead. Tell us the fun stuff.
Yeah.
Which is okay, right? We're just
What else? Yeah.
We're just
What else is in the
here.
house?
It's just us talking, right?
Yeah. Well, Cal, in a lot of press conferences this year, and then no different today, uses the press conferences a lot of time to talk about criticism. And I think he was directly asked about, are you feeling any pressure? And he said, basically, what are they going to do? What can they do? They can fire me. And he told the reporter that he's like, I've been through that before. That's the worst that can happen. I'll be fine. As I was going back in to pick up my bags out of his house, I think I was the only one in there at that time, and heard him talking to Ellen, and he said, like, well, if they fire, basically said something like, if they fire me, I can just buy an island.
Ooh.
Oh.
So, but we're not. But we're gonna. That's not. We're not going to worry about that. We're not going to.
We're in the Final Four. It doesn't matter. We're fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's win the championship and then get an island. Name it number 9. Steven, when they started with the East and they got to number 4 and it was completely blank, I couldn't breathe because I thought the spot that Auburn got, as Jack said, tournament didn't matter. I thought that was going to be Kentucky. There was a tension in my house. Was there a tension in the Calipari house like I felt here? At least in that one spot.
In that one spot, I mean, I don't know. I didn't really sense any of that. I know there were some reporters who were also thinking about how far they were going to have to travel. That were like, this is like when they missed I forget what region it was or what location it was they missed, and we're like, oh, probably going to go to Spokane. I think there was a little bit of surprise from everybody else in the room when they announced the 3 seed in Pittsburgh, and I heard all the. I couldn't even, from where I was, I couldn't even see the TV, so I was just facing and saw them all cheering. But I don't think that there was. I don't think that I don't think there was a ton of tension. I don't know that they were. I mean, Cal had the players too right after they were done. Go watch a video that they had made, and like a little 9-minute season recap thing. They're just all about being loose. Cal talked a lot about how they went bowling today. Cal said, "I know you all wanted us playing in that championship game today, but we went bowling," and talked to us all about their scores. Trey's the best bowler, and thought it would be Antonio. But so I think the whole vibe was just to be loose and to really not overthink this.
Well, I've got some breaking news if we want to share. Can I get a Wani Nana? Kentucky versus Oakland will tip off at 7:10 Thursday night on CBS.
So FanDuel was wrong.
FanDuel was wrong, but that's the only time they'll be wrong because they're wonderful. But
I'm not going to complain.
12.5-point favorites as well.
Who is?
I'm not complaining about any time slots after we got the draw we did. They could have put us at 2 a.m, and I would have said, I guess we're playing at 2
I was going to
a.m.
say, like, Jack, yeah, you were asking. I have no idea. Like, the announcing crew is Catalan, Lapis, and Washburn.
Who?
No idea. Never heard of them.
These
in my
are
life.
words. Catalan, Lapis, and Washburn. Evan Washburn? Am I making
Yeah, I know
this up?
Washburn. I know Washburn. I don't know the others.
Yeah. I'll look it up. Talk amongst yourselves.
Did you all have any strong takeaways in the other 3 regions? You got any sleeper picks, any matchups you're excited about?
I have one unbelievable take. St. Peter's has the chance to do the funniest thing to ever exist in NCAA tournament history. The same exact scenario, a 2-15 matchup. God, I need you. I need you to Tennessee. How hilarious would that be? To 2 years after disaster. Like, would we like St. Peter's after that? Would we look back in history and see St. Peter's as like a positive influence on our lives or a negative? I'm not sure.
No, that's always going to be a negative, but we will certainly pat them on the back if they can do the Lord's work and send regular season Rick home in the first round. Speaking of Ricks, little Rick knocked Big Rig out. That's a little twist in the Patino family. As of yesterday, St. John's was in, and then nope. Richard steals his spot by winning the conference tournament. So that's one more to note. I was excited to get Patino and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, another snub that was pushed out with all the randomness we got on College Championship Saturday.
I'll say the West region is very, very bad, historically bad. I think that's going to be one where North Carolina might just kind of skate their way through. And I can't believe UConn got the draw it did. That's a tough little run for them to run it back, but UConn's tough. They've been the best team in college basketball. If you can't make that run, you have no business being the champion anyway. So those were kind of my big picture takeaways, but I am a St. Peter's Peacock fan for the first time in existence.
Well, unless you all have any more to add to the equation, I guess we'll go learn more about Oakland and get to packing, start picking out our hotels because it's right here in front of you. You got something there, Zach? You raised your hand. Were you?
Oh, I want to shout out our Morehead State in Western Kentucky. We've got 14, 15 seeds for them. If Western Kentucky somehow wins 3 games, I guess they would play Kentucky, so we can have that to potentially look forward to. They just have to beat Marquette first. To go back to New Mexico State, I just have to talk about all their weird Kentucky connections. I've already wrote a post about it, but you've already got Rick Pitino's son. You've got Ty Washington's younger uncle, who's 2 years younger than him. He's a freshman. Is actually pretty good. I watched him in the championship game yesterday. Jamal Mashburn's son is the second leading scorer. Jamarl Baker is in his 7th season of college basketball and comes off the bench for them.
Get a job.
I forgot he's there.
Yes, and he also plays. So him and True and Jamal Mashburn Jr. will be out there. And then you also have, shout out to Jack's t-shirt right there, Eddie House, 2008 national or NBA champion. His son, Jalen House, is the leading scorer for New Mexico, and he's had 28 in that title game. So that's going to be my number 2 team. I'm actually going to actively root for Pitino in the NCAA tournament.
Well, I'm rooting for one team, and if we're not in Dallas a weekend after Pittsburgh, we got problems. But I'm liking the way things look. I know you are as well, and I'd say most of the fan base is. So it was not a successful trip to Nashville, but a very successful selection Sunday. Like you said, it's the first time in history Cal's never had a complaint. Normally we're all complaining right now. We don't have a reason to. We make up reasons, but there's nothing to complain about. But I guess we'll sign off for now. Drew, Jack, Tyler, Zach, Steven behind the camera, giving a little scoop there. And Steven really letting it go from the house.
Insider.
Yeah. But thanks for joining us. As always, subscribe. I couldn't see the comments. I would have read them, but I don't know where they are. But thank you for commenting if you commented. And I'm sure we'll get together and go over the whole bracket and give our final picks before this all gets started. But for now, happy St. Patrick's Day. I can't talk. And go Cats.